going to try and involve all of you lovely people, and I don't totally know how to do that. So can I ask, who uses open source who uses open source software? Who writes open source software? Who works at a company that relies on open source software? Okay, so do you think foundations give you what you need? Anyone think they do a good job? Okay.
That's sad.
So yeah, that is kind of damning, isn't it?
It is. I guess we saw the shrug.
So I guess my question is, what perhaps from one of you and some what should they be doing better so that you would put your hands? Rob.
One of the things that bugged me about the foundation the last 5 years or so was the professionalizations of the conferences. So when I started out, it was very much the conferences were free to attend. Usually organised by the community themselves, and that gave a good influx of new engineers and personal projects. And over the last probably 5 years, I'd say, we've gone from that to even like a students attending still have to pay £100 or £200 to get there. And if you're in a company, oh my God, well, it's going to be a couple of grand to gradually getting up to that sort of level. I think that's been pretty bad for influx of engineering focused projects. I'm just going to state that as an opinion and see what the panel has to say on that.
And you said that specifically at the beginning about the Linux Foundation, because I didn't quite.
Yeah, that was specifically. I mean, especially with a lot of the Linux Foundation taking over and professionalizing a lot of extant projects.
Well, so Erica, what are you going to do about that?
It's a good thing I have a board meeting in like 2 weeks, right? No, actually, I think that's a really good point. And as a vendor, so I mentioned my company is also bootstrapped, and we are exhibiting at a bunch of the Linux Foundation's events. And I'm personally a little frustrated with it too, with how expensive it's become to have a booth there. I mean, it's like $15,000 or 20. I think KubeCon EU is 20 grand to have like a little tiny booth, which is insane in my opinion. And it's really frustrating how quickly they've raised the prices too. It's like it's.
Where's all the money going?
Well, I'll tell you a few things. I haven't looked at the budgets from the conferences. I'll see if I can get.
I've got
Jim@linuxfoundation.org. I'll pass it to Abby in a second.
yeah, I've got
Just 1 second. First, I will say, I agree with you that it has changed. I was at the very early OzCons and the Linux Collab Summits and all of that, and it was a totally different feel, and I think that's a good point, and it's something I absolutely need to bring up. I will say some of these events are insanely expensive to run, too, and the money does have to come from somewhere. We were talking about this with Monki Gras. It's crazy, and especially in certain cities like San Francisco, where I'm from, once you have to pay, it's like thousands of dollars just to have like water at a conference. So it gets super expensive. I know other people have a lot to say. I think you're right, and it's a good point, and it is something I will personally work on because I've seen it, firsthand, and I agree with you.
I have lots of opinions on this, though, because to start off with, to your point, it is expensive. Cloud Foundry Foundation, our events have grown in cost. Particularly this year is going to be even more because we're targeting more people. My biggest aspiration for these events is to break even. Yeah. So we don't lose money because we are a nonprofit. We do not have tons of cash laying around. Our goal is to purely break even and make sure that it is a event that is good for people to attend, that we support the community the best way we can, and provide a great forum and great content. And that takes money, that takes time, and that takes people. And I know that they've grown in cost. I know our event over the last 5 years has grown from a very small budget to a very large budget. But to her point, the events in these large locations, it costs a lot of money to have food, the space, and support.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, what's lived on these in these conferences is professionalized as well, right? I mean, in the old days, it was just the conference, right?
You know, the world has actually
Here was one
changed.
expecting lanyards, goodie bags, food, you know, it was just the content was the important thing, right? And so a lot of that expense is about non-content expense, right? The actual content that we've come from pretty cheap. I know there's others.
No, these are really good points. And, you know, I'm, as someone that's running a conference with nice swag, expensive food, expensive everything, nice suits. Well, it is, for me, it's a very on-point question because I have been asking myself questions about sustainability of what I do. And when we're struggling to break even on an event like this, you have to ask yourself, I mean, I know why I'm doing it. It's because I want to support a community, and I love doing it. However, the Shoreditch thing has become a bit insane. And so next year, I'm probably going to be going back to Conway Hall, which is a cheaper venue, or a local church, St. John's in Hoxton. I think I probably hit peak Monki Gras swag this year. I don't know that you'll be getting cheese and coffee giveaways, although Alexis's sponsorship allowed that to happen. It's difficult to do this. I don't want to say too much, but I've really been thinking about, like, it's the sustainability. Professionalization is one thing, but just how do you keep doing it?
One thing I was going to say, one thing I love, one of your innovations that I love is the alpha beta sign-up thing, right? So the people who are your core community, you know, they'll buy a ticket next year tomorrow, right? And it's well,
Well, it's interesting you say that because that cost may be going up as well for the core community can't always. I mean, I've got some serious questions to ask. So we'll chat about this at the break, Rob. But don't be thinking I'm a good guy. That's all I'm saying. Nick, you've got some reckons.
Yeah, I mean, I know we probably don't want to stay on this topic forever, but I mean, I work for a very small non-profit, and I think while we absolutely have to recognise what I think Alexis was trying to hint at, which is the world has changed. There are some very big, very well-funded interests that want to come to these conferences and get things out of them on a scale and on a level of professionalism that did not exist in the early OSCONs and LinuxCons and so on. But I think it's perfectly possible to accept the professionalization, accept the change, while still making sure that there is room at these conferences for people who simply cannot afford a $1,200 conference ticket and whose company is never going to pay for that conference ticket, in recognition of the fact that it is those communities from which these technologies originally came, and it is those communities from which these technologies will come in the future.
I think a lot of
and that's it.
Yeah, so just to speak to that a bit, because I'm on the steering committee for an Eclipse Science group, and the people who work in science, they come from universities, they come from institutions, and they do have that problem, and we're seeing that problem in Eclipse, where they're saying, well, you know, if my institution is not going to pay for me to go to this event, and, you know, the pricing is all off. And so one of the things that is happening much more and more is this idea of taking the conference sort of to the people, using meetups more. We've got a location tech group, and they have a tour, so they have events, most of which are free, so in local cities. So the idea is kind of just to distribute those conferences and to make them accessible, and we're looking at doing something similar in science, you know, just having local meetups which are free to attend with smaller groups, and maybe they're feeders for the bigger conferences, who knows, but it is focusing on, I think keeping it accessible, and that is really important.
One other thing I'd add is I think all of the Linux Foundation events, they do have they have free tickets available for people who can't afford to go, and they even pay for travel for a lot of people who have been meaningful committers to the community. And even though, you know, I bristle at the high price of paying for a booth because it's a lot of money for us, some of the money also goes to bring those people to conferences. So I don't think it's fair to characterize it as leaving everybody who can't afford to go behind either, because they really are making an effort to make sure that doesn't happen.
I was going to say one issue with that is it's the established people in the community that get paid for.
Well, the word there was committers as well. Like, not everyone is already a committer, and they may be contributing in other ways. Through documentation, for example, which seems like a really hot topic. Lots of people are... So, God, the documentation just got a round of applause. Wow. So check out Monki Gras. I mean, it seems, it's interesting, a lot of people have said we need like a docs conf, something that is about best practices. And is there? I asked and... Read the docs. Awesome. So wait, it's in the US and... So, brilliant. Read the docs. I will be looking into that. Thanks. Gareth.
Aren't we complaining about winning here?
Complaining about winning.
There are more foundations, there are more events, there are more things going on. When you said who's using open source, everyone, and that's not just this room, that is literally everyone. Versus 5 years ago when people were like, oh, isn't that scary? Isn't it illegal? Aren't we sort of at risk of sort of missing?
Sure, sort of who here uses the phone, who here has a pen, who here breathes. It is a good point, but I think...
Alexis has it.
If you want to recreate the experience of 10, 15 years ago, you can go to FOSDEM in Belgium.
That's true.
About which, what I've heard is that they still need to learn about diversity a little bit, and everyone's drunk all the time. So things change in good and bad ways, and I think that Gareth is right. There's just so many more developers doing open source now that these events have just grown and grown and grown and grown and grown.
So I know that...
FOSDEM, aren't you, Brian? Can I say a few more things? Because I think there have been so many interesting points raised. There's a few little factoids I'd like to share with people.
If you want to share some factoids.
Well, I'm just going to say, you know, I've been involved in putting on a lot of events, free and paid. I think that the person who asked the first question is absolutely right. There has been a move too far in the direction of big bucks events for various reasons, and that needs to be rectified. But it does cost about $100 per person per day to put on a serious event in Europe. And as these events grow in size up to 5 days, well, you can do the maths if they want to break even at all. London's about 120, 110. Amsterdam maybe 80, but there isn't a huge difference. That's what it costs.